WGLH-TV is bringing you a very special edition. Gahanna-Lincoln High School has had a tradition of academic rigor, success, and great opportunities for its students. That is one reason why the Gahanna community continues to grow. Hi, I'm Jonathan Mays.
I'm Danny Kosick.
And I'm Marlon Jackson, and this week we'll be bringing you an in-depth show tackling some of the programs at Gahanna who have had long histories of success.
One of the programs that students have been working on for 9 years is the Honor Flight program. This is an organization that sends veterans to see the memorials that were built in their honor.
With an average age of 90, over 1,200 veterans die each day. Many of these veterans have not had the opportunity to travel to our nation's capital and see their memorials dedicated in their honor.
Through Honor Flight, which was created in Ohio about 12 years ago, this trip is now possible.
Honor Flight pays all the costs for the veterans to visit the memorials, and a guardian is sent with them to help them throughout the day.
With an average cost of each trip around $50,000 for 84 veterans, the Gahanna community, Gahanna schools, and WGLH-TV have all raised money to help sponsor a portion of the flight.
It's truly a moving experience for the veterans and the guardians that accompany them.
Mylan, Jonathan, and I have more about the program.
One program here at the high school that has not only gained respect and recognition in Central Ohio, but throughout the state is our theater program. Just this year, several of its productions have been nominated for numerous local awards. Danny Kosick, Maya Rossio, and Camille Mancuso have more on this great program. One project that the students and staff of Gahanna-Lincoln High School have been working on for the past several years is the restoration of the one-room schoolhouse. Now that the restoration is complete, students in the 3rd grade have the opportunity to visit the schoolhouse and see what it was like to go to school back in the late 1800s. Addie Kittle and Ben Steeman give us a tour of this building. To effectively communicate all the events that occur here at the high school every year is done through our high school journalism classes. WGLH-TV, The Pride, and the newspaper have also won numerous local and state awards over the years. Dante Dees and Mylan Jackson, who are considering majoring in broadcast journalism or communication next year, have more on these programs. Not only do our academic programs have a tradition of excellence and success, so do many of our sports programs. Jackson Wolf and Colin Strait show us some of these traditions. As the clock ticks, it symbolizes time ticking by. And while seconds may not seem like a lot of time, if you begin to add them up, you will see seconds turn into minutes, which turns into hours, which turns into days, years, decades, and generations. The Gahanna-Jefferson School District has existed since the late 1800s when the town of Gahanna combined with Jefferson Township and has grown ever since. To help show this progress of time, WGLH-TV advisor and former GJPS student Tom Gregory decided to construct a timeline that, when finished, will be on display near the lobby of Lincoln High School.
Oh, the timeline actually was something that some students and I came up with the idea for it about 8-9 years ago. What Mr. Carter had mentioned, that the PTO had approved some money for us to do the timeline project, and we were like, oh great, but we had to finish up the schoolhouse first.
Following the initial phases of planning came the hours upon hours of research on the history of the district.
Well, it was a lot of work, especially when you talk about communities. You go back and look for pictures, you know, especially from a long time ago. Some of the pictures we had of one-room schoolhouses would either come from residents. I mean, one of them we blew up, but it was on a postcard that was found on eBay that someone found a long time ago. And luckily on the back, it had mentioned that this was the school over on Wagner Road, and the person that was a grandmother at the time and writing to her grandson to say she was a teacher in like 1900 or 1903 in the schoolhouse. And it was just, you know, lots of research.
Once their research was complete, they now had to get photos of the existing buildings. They did this in one of two ways. They either used one of these on the ground, or if they wanted to get a more aerial shot of the building, they utilized a drone.
The yearbook has been instrumental in getting the photography part of the timeline. So our photographers went out and took pictures of the school buildings that still exist. And we also have gone back into old yearbooks and gone through them to try to find what did life look like as a student at Gahanna throughout the years.
After conducting research and collecting the photographs, it was time to begin the actual construction of the timeline. Instead of using an outside company to construct the timeline, Gregory decided to utilize Gahanna-Lincoln High School's own SWAG and Fab Lab classes.
Well, I mean, one of the reasons is there was very limited money, but the biggest reason, even if we had the money, I wouldn't have done that, because the whole point of doing any of these projects is not just for the project itself to be nice for people to appreciate when it's done, but the project itself should be a learning process for everybody involved. Throughout the process, they learn so much, and then certainly take pride in the project when it's done.
One student who has devoted much of her time to the project is Kayla McCoy.
Thought that it would be interesting to be a part of something that would be at the high school for many years to come. They're thinking about keeping it around for 20 to 30 years from now, and it's my senior year, so I'll be able to leave my mark on the school.
Since McCoy is in both SWAG and Fab Lab, she's been able to utilize her skills in both areas to help build the timeline.
Like the paper came up, you were cutting the vinyl, and like the vinyl was sticky, so it wasn't like.
Well, it first started in SWAG, and I inserted the pictures and the captions into the timeline. I also designed the layout of the timeline with help from Catherine Bells, and then now we're at the stage where we're printing it using the vinyl printer in the Fab Lab. So I'm a part of all of sections of the timeline.
Meanwhile, the timeline has begun to take shape in the school lobby with the hanging of a quote last week. Project organizers hope to begin hanging pictures in the coming weeks. In the meantime, the clock keeps ticking.
From the original one-room schoolhouses at Gahanna,
From the construction of Clark Hall, the Gahanna-Jefferson School District has surely progressed over the last generation.
reporting for WGLH-TV, this has been Josh Russell
And Jonathan Mays. Automobiles. They're the machines that transport us from one place to another to accomplish life's daily tasks. For many teens, getting their driver's licenses after turning 16 is a major task they work to accomplish.
I wanted to get my driver's license so that way I could have more freedom to go and do what I want and be able to drive there.
I wanted to get my license because I thought it'd be nice to be able to drive and see friends and to be on my own.
Driver's license because I'm a pretty active guy and I like to move around and do stuff, so it's really convenient for me.
However, an epidemic has developed over the last few years concerning teens and adults with a lack of awareness when driving due to something that's distracting them. An epidemic known as distracted driving.
You know, this is a major epidemic in our country. We're losing our youngest and our brightest.
WBNS sports anchor Dom Tiberi is experiencing the effects this epidemic has firsthand after losing his daughter Maria in a distracted driving accident back in September of 2013.
Car crashes are the leading killer of our kids, and especially the age group 16 to 19. You are 3 times more likely to be in a fatal crash at that age than any other group there is. And we see it every day. And
GLHS has also been affected by distracted driving. Nearly 3 years ago, GLHS lost one of its students, Sydney Williams, due to a distracted driving crash.
Sydney was a great kid. She really cared about other people. The biggest thing is Sydney would look out, be the friend that her other friends would come and cry on her shoulder. She would make them feel better, give them advice. And so she really cared about making other people feel better.
After an accident, cars are taken to one of Central Ohio's many junkyards for where they are either scrapped for parts or crushed, like these. However, Gahanna-Lincoln High School is looking to curb distracted driving. Just last month, GLHS held a Distracted Driving Awareness Day, where they partnered with the Ohio Department of Transportation, which provided students with simulators, and where they also showed a PSA on how distracted driving hurts everyone.
You're going past the speed limit. What about Anna, get on your right side.
Well, I ran over a person. It was kind of hard to watch when everyone's yelling behind you.
The Gahanna Police Department is also taking steps to help prevent distracted driving.
You will have to have hands-free device to be on your cell phone or anything in Bexley. So I'm sure that the city of Gahanna is probably going to try to enact that also. Probably that will be coming about through probably, I would assume, most of the state.
For Tom Taberry, he's committed to fighting distracted driving until it's no longer an issue.
You know, I have a job doing the sports, but I feel like this is a mission now to try to end this madness.
Hey, I'm Danny Cossack, and I pledge to not drive distracted.
I'm Mylan Jackson, and I pledge to not drive distracted.
I'm Jared White, and I pledge not to drive distracted.
Hi, I'm Mr. Gregory, and I promise not to drive distracted.
My name is David Foley, and I pledge not to drive distracted.
This is Jonathan Mays reporting for WGLH TV. What is a stereotype? How would you define a stereotype? Where did the idea of a stereotype come from? From a young age, you're told to find your niche, or the group you want to associate yourself with. This group could be the athletes, such as a football or soccer player, a singer in theater, a straight-A student, band, art. The list is endless. However, you may also be the person that doesn't want to be involved, or the one who may learn differently from everyone else. Did you know that one can assume finding your niche reflects a stereotype of yourself? You join theater, so you must not be a runner. Or you draw pictures, so you must not care about grades. Or you haven't joined anything, so you must not have any special talents. Stereotypes can also be placed on you based on how you look or talk. You speak or look different, so you must not be like everyone else. However, what many don't realize is a stereotype is just a category that we put others into. What we fail to realize is just because we may not be the fastest runner, greatest singer, smartest student, best trumpet player, most colorful artist, or just simply look or talk different, doesn't mean we don't all share similar interests. In fact, it's just the opposite. All right, so if you like sports or you play sports or you watch sports, please move to the middle now. As people come together, a great picture emerges from the boxes that once separated. A picture that illuminates the message of, there is more that brings us together than we think, proving that stereotypes don't define us. Rather, it's who we truly are as individuals and human beings that will forever define who we are.
Hi, thanks so much for supporting our annual Spread the Word to End the Word campaign here at Gahanna Lincoln. Please join us to sign the pledge to end the use of the R word. Also, join us in the gym today to play some wheelchair basketball, visit with some therapy dogs, and just come hang out and have some fun. Thank you, Gahanna, for all your support.